I'm Danny Dyer, and this is the Real Football Factories International. I played Tommy Johnson in the film The Football Factory, which was all about football violence. Fucking nutters. Then I travelled the UK and met the real football firms. Now, I'm going international. 9 countries in 2 months. Around the hooligan world in 60 days. A whole new level of football violence. We'll be in riots. We'll get tear gassed, chased, and even shot at. It's going to be quite a trip. Argentina is famous for its football. Of all the successful nations in the modern game, it has provided more drama and excitement than anywhere else. As well we know. But Argentina is not only famous for its passion on the pitch. The terraces of South America's second largest country contain arguably the most passionate and violent football hooligans in the world.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you. I'll do my work.
The problem of football violence in Argentina is getting worse and worse and worse.
I kept my promise. Don't keep your distance.
This week I'm going to be 7,000 miles away from London in Argentina and the capital city of Buenos Aires. I'm going to one of the biggest derbies in South America. Independiente versus Racing Club. It's one of the most explosive matches in the world. Argentina has one of football's worst hooligan problems. It's a secretive and closed world. But despite this, I'm going to get an audience with one of the most notorious football hooligans and leader of the biggest firm in the world. And my trip here has coincided with one of the biggest crises in the history of Argentinian football. I'm walking into the eye of a hooligan storm. Coming to Argentina had taken me as far off my manor as I'd ever been in my life, and the 18-hour journey had taken it out of me. On my travels, I'd been to quite a few countries in a short space of time, so Christ knows what time zone I was in. But one thing I did know was that Buenos Aires was a dangerous place and trouble could be lurking around any corner. Better jog on, might turn nasty. Today it's a bustling city of nearly 13 million people and a popular destination with tourists and travellers. And it's a city that was built by visitors. In the mid to late 19th century, immigrants from Europe began populating Buenos Aires, and with them, they brought football. The game has early origins in Argentina. The Football League was established just 4 years after the English one, and before any in mainland Europe. The popularity of the game spread quickly, and football became part of the DNA of Argentina.
In this country, to belong to a team, it's so important. And perhaps you don't have anything. You only have this to belong. You understand?
And when football is all you have, it becomes a religion.
It's difficult for a person that doesn't live here in Buenos Aires or in Argentina to understand the craziness that people get with football.
But that passion all too easily goes too far. Argentina has a brutal history of football violence. Over 200 people have been killed since the first incident way back in 1939, when 2 supporters were shot at a match. But organised hooligans did not come onto the scene until the 70s. They became known as the Barra Brothers, which translates as brave gangs.
The gang mentality in Argentina is very, very strong, especially since the clubs are seen as defenders of their neighbourhood.
And nowhere is the gang mentality stronger than in Buenos Aires. I'm in the city that has more football teams than anywhere else in the world. It's a football-mad melting pot. And with the largest amount of football teams, you have the highest number of firms, football firms, that I've come here to meet. Say hola to Ariel Leon. He used to be a Barra brother back in the 80s and 90s. His team was Vélez Sarsfield, and he was part of the firm for 10 years.
Cuando creces ahí adentro, perdés ciertos miedos capaz que tiene la gente normal, que es a pelearse, a estar en ese ambiente que generalmente a cualquier persona le daría miedo. Generalmente la violencia es toda física y generalmente en las barras siempre hay un grupo determinado que es el que va armado. Pero ya cuando generalmente los enfrentamientos armados son cuando es algo planeado ya.
In England during the 70s and 80s, motorway service stations provided the opportunity for rival firms to meet and fight. Here in Buenos Aires today, it's at the toll booths on the roads that surround the city. Every weekend in Buenos Aires, hundreds of buses filled with Barra's brothers crisscross the city to get to games. So when they meet at these toll booths, it's a chance for them to attack each other. Ariel knows about these battles because he was involved in one, and it spelt the end of his days as a Barra brother.
40, 50 personas de River que seguramente serían de la barra. Y bueno, nosotros éramos 3 micros de Vélez y no, o sea, hubo agresiones, rompieron todos los micros, todos. Nosotros no pudimos bajar del micro. Vino la policía, se paró y cuando bajamos todo el micro tenía 16 agujeros de bala. Y ningún herido, y arriba del micro había 60 personas.
It's not always lucky though. In April 2003, a battle between Barra brothers of River Plate and Newell's Old Boys resulted in 2 fans being killed. So to understand the passion and the violence of Argentinian football, I needed to experience a game firsthand. And I'm going to one of the biggest. It's the Clásico de Avellaneda. It's Independiente versus Racing Club. And if you thought the derbies in England had atmosphere, then think again.
I think I've shit my pants.
So join me after the break in the madhouse that is Argentinian football. Welcome back to International Football Factories. This week I'm in Argentina, and being an Englishman, believe you me, I've got to keep me nut down.
Don't you know I'm loco?
I'm in the capital, Buenos Aires, 7,000 miles from home. And as far as football hooliganism is concerned, it really is a different world out here. Argentina is a country with a history of violence. In 1943, a military coup ousted the constitutional government. It was the start of 40 years of military rule, coup and counter-coup, violence and bloodshed. During the second half of the 20th century, military leaders used extreme measures against those seen to oppose the dictatorship. In the late 70s and early 80s, human rights groups estimate that over 30,000 people were disappeared. It's believed that they were arrested and secretly executed without trial. Violence is endemic in Argentinian society. It's part of life here. And with football being one of the nation's greatest passions, the two elements became entwined to produce a culture of football violence. In the weeks leading up to my arrival, Argentinian hooligans from various clubs had been dominating the headlines. Racing Club banned Boca Juniors' Barra's brothers from a match. But when the judge overturned that ban, the game was called off because they said they couldn't provide the necessary security. Then there's Gimnasia's firm, who threatened the team with death if they won. And during the game between Newell's Old Boys and Rosario, there was almost tragedy. The two sets of fans began throwing stones at one another, and the police reacted by firing rubber bullets at the Newell's fans. Just your average